Okay, hi everyone. My name is Hope Mohon, and I'm also here with Annie Davis and Lizzy Steffenson. We are going to be presenting some of our works from Honors Chinese Calligraphy this semester. So I'm going first. I'm presenting my cursive submission from earlier in the semester. So this character means to fly. And cursive script form as a shorthand for clerical script. It allows the calligrapher a lot of artistic freedom. As you can see, it's very artistic and fluid. And it's usually written very quickly with fluid movements. And because of this, smaller strokes and dots are often left out to form one fluid character. And then my name and date are written in a running script. So that is my cursive calligraphy submission.
I think you did a great job, Hope. Some notes that I had were that your character is very neat and it is very easy to read. And you did a good job of incorporating the cursive script styles, such as those connecting lines and the variety of thickness. A correction I have is that your name and date should ideally be the same length as that character. So making those characters a little bit smaller. But as I said, you still did a really great job.
Yeah, I really like this piece of work. I really like aesthetically how it looks on the page because the top of the character is thicker and the bottom of the character is thicker. And then in the middle, it kind of lets up and goes to thin. And so I think that's a really nice choice the way it fits on the page. One thing I would say is that I know the cursive script is supposed to be really fluid and expressive, and it almost looks a little too orderly and controlled. So just letting up and really letting loose for expressiveness would really make this just so much better than it already is. But yeah, really nice job. I really like this piece of work.
All right, and next is mine. So this is clerical script, and the characters featured on it mean good fortune. The clerical script gained popularity during the Han Dynasty and then developed from the shorthand writing of clerks during that time. It followed in order, it followed after seal script before cursive, which Hope just talked about. Clerical today can still be seen on billboards and storefronts and headlines just because of how easily recognizable it is to most Chinese readers. Um, in terms of quality and characteristics, the um, clerical scripts are like characters are typically wider than they are tall, and then the strokes usually do have a variance to their thickness. It also was the introduction to the silkworm head and goosetail stroke, where it starts off thin and has a flared ending, and you can see that one in the character on the right.
Yeah, great job, Lizzy. I think this is a really nice piece of work, and I love how you have your work centered in the gold circle. So that looks really nice, and it looks really great on the red paper. Um, some of the critiques that I have written down is that it looks very neat. It's just very aesthetically pleasing to look at. And I love the silkworm head and goosetail stroke right there on the top right. I feel like that really highlights the piece well. And one critique that I have is maybe trying to get a little bit thinner to thicker on that stroke just to really highlight the difference from thin to thick. But overall, I really think that it's a great piece of work and really great for the new year.
Yeah, I really think that the top right character has the perfect example of the silkworm head and goosetail stroke. So I think that's really nice to present for clerical because that's such an important stroke for the script. And I also really like the whole aesthetic layout of the piece. I like the choice to make the paper kind of diagonal, and I think it looks really nice. One critique I have is that I know you mentioned clerical script is often wider than it is tall, and it oftentimes looks kind of flat. And in this piece, I feel like it's still a little taller than it is wide and doesn't really have that flat effect. Not quite so. But I think this is a really nice piece of work and I really enjoy it. So this is mine. I decided to submit an example of regular script. And so this text in the piece originates from an essay from the Song Dynasty called The Ode to the Lotus Flower. And regular script is known as the standard script. So it is the most recognizable and is found in textbooks. This script is typically learned first before moving on to more expressive scripts. And this is an example of this is how we learned to write characters in class. We started with regular and then moved on to clerical and cursive. This script emerged directly from clerical script and reached its prime popularity in the Tang Dynasty. Characteristics of this script are square-shaped characters. All the characters are very balanced. No one side has more weight than another, and each stroke is separated from one another by a lift of the brush.
I'll go first. Annie, I think this is really great. I really like how the name and date are very nicely balanced with the characters, which is something that I struggled with in my piece. So it's nice to see that it's perfectly balanced out with your four characters. And I really think that you have good thick to thin, especially on some of the smaller strokes. I can really see that you lifted the brush well, just like you talked about in your notes. And if I had one critique, it's just that it looks like the brush bled just a little bit, but I also had trouble with that because I found that writing with water on the practice paper was quite a bit different than writing with ink on the real rice paper. So that was kind of a learning curve. So I definitely understand that, but that's one critique that I had written down.
Yeah, I think it looks really great, Annie. I think that your characters, especially those with the your name and your date, look very neat and they're very easy to read. Um, and I, like you mentioned, for the qualities of regular script, the characters are balanced on both sides, and I think you did a really good job of visually having that characteristics and showing that. One note that I would have is the size of the characters are a little bit uneven. So, like that top right one is a little bit smaller than the others. So, which is really difficult to achieve because that is the first character we write. But that could just be something to work at if you were to continue your practice of Chinese calligraphy later on.
Thank you.
All right, so that's our final project video submission. I hope that you enjoyed looking at our works throughout the semester and you learned something as we critiqued each other on our works. So thank you.